beautiful California coast. Surrounded by friends and the cool breeze, with that all too familiar smell of ocean water. Connected to the ground by my two giant wheels and seated comfortably on my seat. There is no experience more freeing than biking, and there is no place better to bike than along the California Central Coast. If you can't tell by now, I enjoy biking. I love everything about it. It reminds me of how lucky I am to be alive. Interesting enough, my first experience with biking was awful. For those of you who haven't met my dad, he doesn't really buy into any of this babying philosophy. He has treated me as an adult for as long as I can remember. And now this, of course, means no training wheels. Now, this was a devastating thing for four-year-old me, and it absolutely petrified my mother. She pleaded with him to be rational, that a 4-year-old couldn't possibly ride a bike without training wheels, and she was right. I fell so many times that day that the family photos we took half a week later showed me with countless small bruises. Years go by without me so much as thinking of a bike again. My mom took me whenever I needed to go somewhere, and I was happy, mostly, up until the summer before 5th grade. I remember I was given a gift to start the year, a dark blue bike. I was shocked. Obviously, I knew how to ride a bike and all, but it had been years since I ever had to show it. The next thing I did was meticulously map out the route to show up at my best friend's house unannounced and without any parental supervision. It was the most amazing feeling ever, showing up to a playdate without having any parents walk you in. In the months and years to come, I biked everywhere in about a 5 or so mile radius. I'd amassed a group of friends who enjoyed it just as much as I, and I'd even convinced my parents to buy me my first phone so they can keep in touch with me while I was away. Everything was great up until my incident. For a bit of context, there was a steep hill you must climb to get to my house. It was exhilarating to go down and exhausting to climb back up. One day, when leaving my house with 2 of my friends, I felt my phone start to slip out of my pocket. Fearing the wrath of my parents and the crack of my phone, I quickly looked down and grabbed it as it started to slide out. Now, I must have lost track of my balance because the next thing I know, I'm on the ground, in the middle of the road, with a car steaming towards me, and I couldn't move. The next few seconds were a blur. Somehow, miraculously, the car maneuvers around me. My friends rush into the road and pull me off to the side. They untangle me from my bike, and I'm finally able to take a look at myself. There were massive scrapes across my right thumb and on both of my knees. After this, I took a break from biking. I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't dare come near it up until my parents bought my brother his first bike, and I was forced to take him on a ride. So I took him on that same first route I had taken to my best friend's house, and I fell back in love. Years later, I got my electric bike, which expanded my horizons another 5 or so miles. I was now able to reach into PG and even into Monterey. I took this newfound freedom and explored the entire peninsula every weekend with friends. For 6 years now, biking has been one of my greatest hobbies and a guaranteed mood lifter. Even today, I try to go biking with friends twice or so a month and take a ride at least once a week. Now that I've turned 16 and driving is in my immediate future, I wonder how far that will take me, but hopefully not too far from back home, learning how to ride a bike with my dad.